Hi guys, today I'm going to give you a full and in-depth tutorial on Audiocube's audio engine, as well as explain some basic spatial audio concepts which are implemented in the software, so you have a good understanding of why and how you'd want to use these techniques and how they work and some of the underlying processes. I will recommend that you do a bit of your own research and check out the Audiocube blog because there is lots of information there which is hours of video in its own result. So for starters, this is going to be a little bit more in depth and a bit more technical than other tutorials that I've made, but it's worth watching because it will help you get better results and understand exactly what all the options are and how to use the audio engine. So by default, the spatial acoustics mode is enabled up here. So yeah, if you want to change the audio engine settings, just click audio and then acoustics. The spatial acoustics mode is a high definition and more resource intense simulation of the acoustic scenery and sound propagation. If you have a lot of devices in your scene, you will need a powerful computer to use this mode, especially with some of the other options. By default, it's on. It does sound a lot more realistic, especially in terms of spatial movement. So let's just give you a bit of a demonstration. Now, also, it's worth mentioning before we listen, there are two listening points. You can either listen from the camera position. So yeah, make sure you've got a stereo listening device on, like headphones or stereo speakers, or you're not really going to hear how sound moves around. So yeah, you've got the camera, or you can switch to this microphone just by double clicking, or as you can see, now the camera is not doing anything. Instead, this is your listening position. So we're going to start with the camera. So for starters, spatial acoustics needs to be enabled to use all of these other options. So let's just give you a bit of a demo of how it sounds different. So that's with it on. It's a bit louder. But there's no filtering applied, so it's just left and right. Volume when you're... Let me just see if the volume's okay. When you're not using the audio, the advanced spatial acoustics. So when this is enabled, we then can use all these other options. So binauralization is a process which aims to mimic the way that your head decodes sonic information. We're using a head-related transfer function, which means it simulates the way that your skull interferes with audio waves, which affects the way you perceive spatiality and distance. I mean, again, do some more research on this. So let's listen to, this is with it off. And then let's turn it on. So you can hear it's a bit more filtered. And it should give you the kind of perception of things coming from all the way around your head. Next, we have distance attenuation. This is useful if you want to sort of switch between 2D and 3D modes. It basically stops any effect from the distance that sound objects are from your listening position. So, I mean, let's give you a good example of this. So this is useful for when you're kind of testing the balance of sounds. So let's put this over here. Just turn it up a little bit. So you can hear when it's on. How this one is getting quieter. And then when you turn it off, it means that no matter how far away, obviously you're still getting the filtering, the directionality. Yeah, air absorption. This has the kind of dimming effect and the effect on the frequency content. So obviously the volume's staying the same, but it's getting more muffled and it's giving you the binaural filtering. And if you turn that off, so now the only effect would be for left and right. So for the most realistic, have all these three enabled. Let's try to see if we can get these to sync up. So that's the basics of the acoustic simulation stuff. Now we have occlusion and reflections. So to hear these, you'll need to create some sound walls. Now, occlusion means that sounds are blocked by objects. And you'll think, you know, in the real world you would probably hear some spill, but there's no other acoustic surfaces for the sound to bounce off, because this is effectively an anechoic chamber. So you can see where the audio is going with the visualization button toggle down here. And you'll see that none of the sound waves are reaching the camera position. So if you add another wall, now you can start to hear the sort of bounce back as the sound bounces. Let's delete this one. The sound bounces from there to here and then off this wall. Let's turn the reflections up. So it all simulates like how far you are from reflecting surfaces. So yeah, you can create some really cool kind of rooms, essentially. turn it so just the reflections, or mix the level of reflections. So that should cover most of what we wanted to look at. Yeah, there was more information on exactly how these are simulated on the website. Yeah, you can really hear the power of this when reflections are enabled. So this is a much sort of flatter, unprocessed, unspatialized mode, but then spatial acoustics makes it much more realistic with the reflections and stuff. You can have some fun with it. Sort of make a tiny room. And then obviously when you're editing it, you might want to just use the mic. I think the mic's a bit broken. Okay, I think, yeah, I think because I'm recording the screen, it's can't really handle everything at once. But it should be fine if you're not recording, like screen capturing. Okay then. That will do it for this one. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the audio engine, feel free to reach out, because it is a little bit more complicated than what you get in other DAWs and stuff. And obviously this is quite a new platform, but all of the acoustic simulation is recorded when you capture your recordings, which is explained in another video. And it works with all types of sound creating devices, including the emitters and ambience devices. I will say with the emitters it can get a bit glitchy if there are loads of emitter nodes in the scene, because obviously it has to calculate all of the reflections and stuff, but it should do what you need to. Alright guys, let me know if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments or send me an email. See you in the next video.